Hello, Erica. My name is George, and I'm new National Director of School Partnerships here at Next Gen Best. So, you mentioned that you were a outreach leader in previous semesters, and you stopped working around the month of May. So, a lot of things have changed during the summer with like the whole outreach process, money mentorship, and outreach. Do you know right now like what those differences are, like regarding our presentations and what our values consist of?
I know that the presentations got shorter because they used to be longer than 30 minutes, so that's something I noticed is different. Money mentor-wise, I know that they use like a platform now instead of just on a website, I think, instead of using like just text message like before. And I know that some expectations have changed too. I just like...
Okay, cool. I just want to get like a quick like mental recap to see where you're at with like the whole changing things. So we're just gonna like go straight to the beginning, and if there are certain parts that you really understand, we can just like breeze over it because I'm pretty sure you know what money mentors are, so we don't have to go over that part.
Yeah.
So before we begin, I need you to answer some preliminary questions. Let's see. Let me just fill out this form really quick. So you know about the professional leadership bootcamp where we train you to like do outreach, where we have you like do a video submission, right?
Well, I did it last time. I haven't done it this time again, but yeah.
Okay. Well, you're gonna have to like go through it again since we have like a new presentation format. We're just gonna have you do it one more time. All right.
Okay.
Okay. So you said you did a Snapchat takeover. What was the date that you did it?
Oh, that's a very good question. Let me double check.
All right. No problem.
That was Celine. July 22nd.
July 22nd. Awesome. 22nd, 2017. All right. How'd you find out Next Gen Best? You were a previous intern. Ericka Barrosa, right?
Barroso.
Cool. You're interviewing to be an outreach leader. Cool. And are you planning to start in the summer or in the fall?
In the fall, because pretty like full with stuff right now. Yeah.
All right. And what university do you go to?
NYU.
NYU. That's right. It was an email. And you're sophomore right now?
Yeah, rising sophomore, I think it's called. Yeah.
All right. Cool. And what is your major?
That's also a very good question. At the moment, it's psychology.
Okay, so like undecided, like you're not exactly sure about it, or like what's wrong with that? Okay. So before we dive into the presentation, I need to ask you like a couple like theoretical questions. So like what you would do in certain situations, all right?
Okay.
All right, coolness. So the first question. Let's see. So tell me about a time where you had difficulty working with someone, like a coworker, a classmate, or a client. Like what made this person difficult to work with, and what steps did you take to resolve the problem? What was the outcome, and what's something that could have been done differently?
Okay. So this is actually like from an actual presentation too, because that's like the first thing I'm thinking of.
That's fine.
So I went to this school where during the presentation, the students got really, really mad, not at me. And they were like, why in the world did we not know any of this before? And the college counselor got really mad and asked me to stop. Because they were like, we would have explained this to you guys either way. But like all of the parents were really upset because the FAFSA deadline had actually like to enroll had actually passed. And apparently none of them knew about it. So they kind of like try to shut down the presentation and be like, oh, we'll explain this. Like, sorry, guys. And I remember I can't remember if it was Neha or Paramjit at that point, honestly. And I was just like, hey, guys, so this happened, just so you're aware. And I just like, I stayed behind either way to like answer some questions. And I don't want to make the other people look bad. So it's just like, oh, like I'm sure your counselor would have explained either way, and like just trying to keep it professional. Like you can ask me any questions, you can ask them any questions, and
okay, cool. So you actually stayed behind rather than just leaving.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I didn't leave.
Okay, that's really cool because that's something we look for because when we go over like what our core values are, we need to be alchemists, meaning we can create something out of nothing. Like if you take a situation where people are telling you, okay, you can just go, you don't just leave. You try to like find other ways to connect with the students, which is really important because that's why we're there.
Yeah, and a lot of the students got super interested, and I'm pretty sure that at least one of them applied later. So that was really nice.
Oh, that's really cool. Awesome. Alrighty. So next question. Woo! So, you're supposed to be visiting and speaking to people about Next Gen Vest. You're given addresses, names, numbers, and a computer, and there's a time limit per visit. So, like, imagine you're your city captain doing a school visit. So, if for some reason you were stopped by a security guard before you can speak to the person you're there to talk to, what would you do to get around that situation?
What do you mean? Like they don't let me into the school or something?
Yeah. So like they're like stopping you from doing your job. Like what do you try to do to solve that problem?
So we usually I remember we usually just get like the contact of the person themselves. So I would kind of let them know when I was like super close by either way, and they would usually be down there. If not, I could always like give the guard my ID and explain like, oh, this is what I'm here to do. I'm not trying to, hurt anyone, and this is the person who I'm supposed to talk to. So like you can totally double check with them that I'm supposed to be here. Like that's no problem at all. And usually like I would get there earlier, so like it wouldn't be an issue even if the guard was being like, oh, you can't go in immediately, so it would be fine.
Okay, cool. So we asked that questions, it does happen quite often. Like
Yeah.
I've had that issue so many times where security guards are like, hey, stop skipping class. And it's like, I'm an adult.
Do I not look like an adult?
So it's like, it's really important to try to like think your way out of that situation. Like either having an appointment set up beforehand so you can say, hey, look, just like you said, you have the contact information, you let them know. Or like even something as simple as wearing your Next Gen shirt. It'll show like, hey, I'm a legitimate person. I'm here to talk to your students. So please.
Don't send me to the principal's office.
Please no. All right.
Not again.
So next question. Woo! How do you ensure that you're on track of your responsibilities on a daily and weekly basis? So like, how do you try to organize yourself?
So you mean like overall myself, right?
Yeah, overall yourself, or like relating to Next Gen Vest. I mean, that's a lot easier for you to probably think of.
Yeah. So like overall myself, I set like 1 million alarms because I have like ADHD. So it's like, oh my God, I know I had to do something right now. So then my alarm goes off and reminds me, and it's like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to go do now. Next Gen Vest wise, basically the same. I would just be like, okay, like the moment I receive an assignment, just like add it to my calendar and set alarms the day before and the day off, so I didn't like make plans on top of that. And then just like make sure to leave early and stuff, and just like make sure that I have it like written down at least on my phone and at least like somewhere else too.
Okay, that's good, because it's like always good to have like a backup plan. Because like like for example, if you're doing a workshop and if you forget, like how bad that looks on everyone at Next Gen Vest. It's like, oh well, these people promised they'd be here and help my students and they didn't show up. Oh no, that causes a huge issue, and like we break that trust that we tried so hard to build. So it's really important to be an organized person and have those set of like reminders, as you said. Like having 1 million alarms is perfectly fine. Like I do the same thing so I don't miss my Monday, Wednesday, Friday meetings. I set alarms, have post-it notes all over my house. Like I used to, I took it down this morning because I cleaned. But I used to have like a bunch of post-it notes on this wall right here telling me like what I need to go over in these meetings and stuff. So it's really important. It's a really good job. Like congrats that you're really organized.
I try.
No worries. Props to you. Because a lot of people like have difficulty with organization, like they can't keep an agenda or something like that. So it's really cool that you're able to. So, in your opinion, what is community service? Like, what does it mean to you, and what's something that you've participated in as an organization? Not exactly Next Gen Vest. Like, aside from this, what have you done?
So to me, like community service is, oops. Didn't break. Not necessarily like helping like those in need, but like helping others with something that you can provide them that they can't get on their own, if that makes sense. And something I've done, for example, is like here at NYU we have this program called Project Outreach, which I applied to and I got in. Yay. And it was super fun because I got to arrive to campus 1 week earlier, which to begin with was already pretty awesome because I got to choose like my side of the room first. And then we just like for a whole week went to many different activities where we would, like, for example, one of them was we painted the inside of all of this like center that they have, where just like teenagers who can't afford to have like extracurriculars, so they go there to have play sports and learn stuff instead. So we painted all of that. We like cleaned up a whole public park too, and just like a lot of like really fun and like different types of stuff. Like one day we helped at a food bank. The other day we helped like at a thrift shop, which was kind of cool, honestly. So it's just like basically like giving your time for something else.
Yeah, I've actually done something very similar when you mentioned the parks. I used to be a part of like beach cleanups where like you would have like this huge group of like environmentalists just go to the beach and just start cleaning up after people.
Oh yeah, we did that. We did that too in my hometown.
It's really cool, having that good feeling where like you're helping others and like you're not really expecting anything in return other than clean air. And like it's really cool. That's what I feel like community service is really important because it adds value to everything around you, and it gives you a whole new perspective on life. Like, what if everybody came together and just started helping each other? Like, imagine how different everything would be.
Yeah.
Right. So, last question I have for you, and I'm done. No, I'm joking. We have a presentation after. All right. So let's assume you're in charge of scheduling and coordinating an event. So like, let's assume you're a city captain, and I'm an outreach leader. So ring ring, I call you 5 minutes before the meeting. Hey, I just broke my leg. Yeah, gotta go. Bye. What would you do in that situation? Like someone flakes out because they had a serious injury.
It depends. I would like to believe that if I was like a city captain, I would have somebody be like available on that slot just in case something like that happened. Like, I don't know, like, hey, you're assigned to this outreach, but just in case, even though I'm not telling them necessarily, this person I know has a free slot in here, so I can just be like, oh, hey, would you go? If I had like no one and it was in my city, I mean, I could always just go myself. That would not be an issue.
All right, cool. Because like that's actually something I did when I was city captain. I actually had that same issue where someone called me 5 minutes before they were in a car crash, and I'm like, oh God, first to ask, are you okay? Do you need me to call 911 for you? Did you forget how to call? So like, always make sure that person is fine, and then after that, like try to find another solution. So like one way that I anticipated that issue, which is another core value, is I actually made sure either another outreach leader or myself was available during that time, just in case something happens. Like always have that like last resort, because we never try to cancel, as you may know. Never cancel. All right, cool. So you did stellar in the Q&A. Woo! All right, now to go through the presentation. So let me just share my screen real quick. I need you to confirm if you can see this.
Yep.
All right, perfect. All right, so welcome to Next Gen Vest.
Oh, that does look different.
So who are we? Next Gen Vest is Gen Z's personal financial assistant. So think of the Money Mentors as every student's personal financial assistant. We help them through the college process and help them make better educated financial decisions. So as you may know, these are the different internships that we offer. Now, you may see some differences. Like before, we used to have city captains and outreach leaders, but things have changed over the summer. And rather than having city captains and outreach leaders, instead we have FAWLs, as you've seen. The financial aid work.
Hello? Hello? Hey, I don't know if you can hear me, but the audio cut out. Hey.
Hey yo. It's
Hi.
embarrassing. So my computer just froze.
Oh, okay.
Alright, so where did I leave off?
So you brought up the PowerPoint, and you were explaining that we didn't have money mentors or outreach leaders anymore, and that was about it.
Okay. So while we restart this computer, um
Okay.
so did you hear my explanation about city captains?
No.
Okay. So the outreach leader position pretty much stays the same, except some former city captains are going to be doing outreach instead of doing phone calls and emails. So we created this new position called the financial aid workshop leader, called the FAWL. Um,
Okay.
it's a really weird name. I want to change it, but for now it's FAWL. And you're in charge of like doing all the outreach and presenting to students and generating as many wow points as you can. So, in lieu of having a city captain who would do the bookings and talking to teachers for you, we have what's called the coordination team. So, the coordination team is composed of two interns, currently Ericka, junior city captain of Miami, and Madeline Smith, former city captain of San Antonio. So, since they both
Okay.
exhibited stellar performance in like phone marketing, so calling teachers and booking workshops, we said, you guys are the perfect fit for becoming the coordination team members. So they're the ones in charge of calling teachers, making bookings, and assigning OLs. So it's like having city captain, except they're like one person in charge of multiple cities. So it's
Hmm.
really cool. That way, there's no like this organization. So we don't have to worry about all the city captains making sure they're talking to all our outreach leaders. So instead, we have the CT team that can talk to all of you at once. So that way, you're all always kept in the loop. You know what's going on. If any major updates, you'll always be in constant communication with the CT team. So by the looks of it, my computer just started updating, so I'm just opening the other one. Um, so rather than talking directly from the presentation, let me talk to you about everything that I've memorized from it so far.
Okay.
So, the main
See, I
thing,
think they're just testing you to see if you know your stuff too.
basically, God hates me. All right. So, let's see what's after this. So we can skip like what is Next Invest because you know what Next Invest is.
Yeah.
Um, other than that, the labor structure, which is like me, the national director of school partnerships, works directly with the two. Well, right now it's the two, but I work directly with the coordination team and you know trying to book as many workshops as I can. My role in all of this is I'm actually flying to like 16 target cities throughout the US before
That's kind of
November,
cool.
trying to book as many workshops as I possibly can. So like this is really exciting. I'm so
That's so
happy.
cool.
Yeah, I'm like this
Do
is
you get to
apparently
fly first class?
what I wish. I don't know. All I know is that we have to keep budget in mind.
Well, but you can be like, oh, I'm on a business trip.
Yeah, I can finally say that, right? So exciting. So it's like I kind of get to be like a city captain, but like in every city, and it's really
That's
cool.
nice.
So let me just try to connect to my internet real quick on this computer. So let's see. Something you might not have heard of, but I mentioned previously in the call was the core values that Next Invest holds. So do you know
Hmm.
what core values are?
Yeah.
What are they?
You mean in general or next to
Yeah, just
best?
in general. Like, what do you
Oh
think
yeah,
core values are?
yeah. So it's like the basis of everything you believe in, basically.
Yeah, basically. um, so Next Invest, we have several core values. We're not including all of them in this presentation since we only have about like four that are relevant to the work right now. Um, we can start off with, let's see, put students first, because that should be the first one. Um, no, whenever we do something, whether it's outreach, whether it's money mentoring, we always think about the end user, the students. Because, we're doing this all for them, for their benefit, so they can make better educated financial decisions. So before we decide, hey, should I send them this scholarship or, should I what was it like for presentation? Should I skip this slide because I don't know what I'm talking about? Always keep in mind that you should always put the students first. You're here for them. Our second core value is building a trustworthy experience. So without trust, what do you have with the student? You have nothing. You're just some weird kid coming into their class talking about stuff they don't care about. So it's
Giving
really
them
important.
pizza. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like really important to build trust with the students early on. So like saying, hey,